The zero product property rule is literally my favorite thing ever because once you've actually done the whole process of factoring a quadratic, it becomes really easy to figure out what your solutions are. So the whole purpose of factoring, again, you're just trying to figure out your x-intercepts or where it actually hits the axis. So I'm going to recall the very first page of your notes. So what you're actually doing is you're finding the 2 points where your parabola hits the x-axis. So by factoring it, you're doing the method without a calculator, and you're able just to figure out what your two solutions or x-intercepts are. So you literally set each part equal to 0 and solve. Well, x equals to 0, so one of your solutions is 0. That means one of your intersection points on the x-axis is 0. And then you would do x minus 1 equals 0, so your other solution is 1. So the x-intercepts for this quadratic are 0 and 1. Looking at number 2, you would set 3x minus 4 equal to 0. And then you would set 2x plus 1 equal to 0. And the format is the opposite of the back divided by the front. So you would add 4. And we all know that's just going to be 4. So, and then you divide that by the front. So one of your solutions is 4/3. The opposite of the back divided by the front. The other solution for your x-intercept would be negative 1/2. Again, opposite of the back divided by the front, because your front coefficient would be 1. So one of your solutions is negative 8. The other one, the opposite of the back divided by the front. And your other intersection point for the x-axis would be 5/8. And that's all you're doing. So like this one would be negative 2/3 and positive 2/3. Now, when you get to question number 8 and ones below that, you are going to actually have to factor it. So if you did not go through the polynomials unit and quadratic unit on connexus for factoring, I highly suggest it. But you're looking for something that's going to multiply together to give you positive 21, but add together to give you negative 10. And that should be x minus 7 and x minus 3. Because when we add those two together, we're going to get the negative 10. But when we multiply them, we do get 21. So that would be how I solved it. And then your solutions would be a positive 7 and then a positive 3. Because those values of x would make each of those factors 0. Over here, this is going to be a difference of squares. So you would actually have to set it up where you would have like 5x over here and 5x over here, and then negative 4 and positive 4. And again, if you didn't do the connexus units, this is probably blowing your mind right now, but you would do first outer, I'm just checking it to make sure it works, inner, last, and it does work because your linear terms would cancel, so this is the correct factorization of it, and your actual solutions would be a positive 4/5 and a negative 4/5. If you want to check and actually see, so say for instance for number 12, you do not want to factor it, like you're over factoring and it's frustrating you, you can always go to the calculator method. So I'm literally going to go to y equals and I'm going to plug in this quadratic. Oops, I don't need a square there. And I definitely need to take my plot off. I've been doing the statistics stuff. So 2x squared and then minus 9x plus 10. That's in standard form because it's equal to 0. You have to have it equal to 0 before you plug that in. You can actually hit graph and look at your graph. I'm going to give mine a second to actually load, but if I go to standard view, and I'm going to actually zoom in a little bit so I can see where it hits the axis. Okay, So I can see it's going to hit it here and here. So I can hit second calc intersect, and it's actually going to pick up my intersection points. So I'm going to move it to the left of my parabola, and then you see there's the point. I'm going to get it to the right of that intersection. That's no bueno. Calc intersect. So I'm going to the left side and to the right side, hit enter. So I don't have to guess, do I? Maybe I'm not zooming properly. Zoom out. Second calc intersect. Left bound. Think I'm close to where the vertex is. Maybe I'm not. But I'm thinking that they're going to be, oh, there's one. So your x-intercept square y is 0. So 2, 0 is 1. And then the other one is going to be a decimal. And that's the one I'm struggling to find on the calculator. So let me pick a different one that I can do on the calculator.